For more than a century, the Titanic has rested in complete darkness nearly 12,500 feet beneath the North Atlantic. Hidden beneath crushing pressure and freezing water, the wreck has remained one of history's most haunting time capsules. But a new expedition set out to uncover what had never been seen before. Armed with advanced underwater drones, high-resolution cameras, and sophisticated mapping technology, a team of scientists and engineers launched a mission that would take them deeper into the Titanic than any previous investigation. The North Atlantic is unforgiving. Violent storms, freezing temperatures, and unpredictable currents make every expedition dangerous. Yet the greatest challenge lay below. At Titanic's depth, pressure exceeds 380 times that at sea level, enough to crush most equipment instantly. Months of preparation went into building a specialized remotely operated vehicle capable of surviving the descent. Constructed from titanium alloys and equipped with powerful lights, precision thrusters, and artificial intelligence navigation systems, the drone represented the cutting edge of deep-sea exploration. As the vessel descended into darkness, its cameras revealed only drifting particles suspended in black water. Then, slowly, the ocean floor appeared. Scattered debris emerged from the sediment, followed by the unmistakable silhouette of the Titanic's bow. Even after more than a century, the ship's massive structure remained recognizable. Rust covered its surface, while decades of corrosion had transformed parts of the vessel into fragile formations known as rustic-less. For the researchers watching from the control room, the sight was breathtaking. After completing an exterior survey, the team prepared for the most ambitious phase of the mission. The drone would enter the Titanic itself. Passing through a narrow opening, it slipped into corridors untouched since April 1912. Its lights illuminated hallways lined with twisted metal and collapsed walls. Every movement stirred clouds of silt that drifted through the water like ghostly fog. Inside, the preservation astonished the researchers. The near-freezing temperatures and lack of oxygen had slowed decay dramatically. Furniture remained where it had fallen. Tables and chairs sat in silence, surrounded by dishes left behind during the disaster. In one area, a porcelain doll rested on the floor, its painted face still visible after more than a century. Nearby, a pair of leather shoes remained side by side, untouched by time. Suitcases lay half-buried in sediment, their contents forever sealed within. Each artifact served as a reminder that the Titanic was more than a shipwreck. It was the final resting place of thousands of personal stories. The drone eventually reached the remains of the famous Grand Staircase. Once the symbol of luxury aboard the Titanic, it had welcomed wealthy passengers beneath crystal chandeliers and carved woodwork. Now only fragments remained. The wooden structure had largely vanished, leaving twisted railings and skeletal supports draped with rustic-less. Yet even in ruin, its outline remained recognizable, offering a haunting glimpse of the ship's former grandeur. As exploration continued, the team encountered evidence that challenged long-held assumptions about the sinking. Some compartments thought to be completely destroyed were surprisingly intact. Other sections expected to be stable had suffered catastrophic collapse. The distribution of debris suggested that the ship's final moments may have been far more chaotic than previously believed. Researchers carefully studied furniture, personal belongings, and structural damage. A cluster of objects pressed against a wall suggested powerful surges of water moving through the corridors. Elsewhere, scattered belongings appeared to mark the paths passengers had taken while trying to escape. Advanced laser scanning technology created detailed three-dimensional models of the interior, allowing scientists to reconstruct flooding patterns and structural failures with unprecedented accuracy. Then the mission took an unexpected turn. While navigating through a damaged section of the wreck, the drone discovered a corridor leading toward a largely unexplored compartment. Fallen beams and debris nearly blocked the entrance, forcing operators to maneuver with extreme precision. After several tense minutes, the drone slipped through the opening and entered a chamber that appeared almost untouched. Inside, suitcases, shoes, and furniture remained exactly where they had fallen. The room seemed frozen in time. Every object appeared preserved in the position it occupied during the ship's final hours. Researchers watched in silence as the drone's lights slowly swept across the chamber. What they found sparked intense debate among the team. The footage appeared to reveal evidence of human tragedy preserved within the room in ways no one expected. Some researchers believed the discovery carried enormous historical value. Others argued that releasing such images would cross an ethical boundary. The discussion quickly shifted from archaeology to morality. When the drone finally withdrew from the compartment, the atmosphere in the control room had changed completely. What began as a scientific mission had become something far more personal. The researchers were no longer studying a famous shipwreck. They were confronting the final moments of real people whose lives ended in unimaginable circumstances. Back on the surface, scientists spent weeks reviewing the data. High-resolution scans generated detailed digital models of the wreck, providing insights into how the ship broke apart and settled on the seabed. Historians compared the new evidence against survivor testimony, while engineers analyzed structural failures to better understand the sinking sequence. Yet the expedition also reignited a long-standing ethical debate. Should humanity continue exploring the Titanic? Supporters argue that the wreck is deteriorating rapidly and that every year valuable information disappears forever. Advanced technology allows researchers to preserve history before it is lost. Critics counter that the Titanic is a gravesite, not an archaeological playground. More than 1,500 people lost their lives there, and many believe the site deserves the same respect granted to any cemetery. Families of victims remain divided. Some welcome efforts to document and preserve the wreck. Others feel that invasive exploration disturbs the memory of those who perished. The question becomes increasingly difficult as technology advances. Smaller drones, artificial intelligence, and improved imaging systems will allow future expeditions to venture even deeper into the ship's interior. Despite the controversy, the mission delivered an important reminder. The Titanic was never just a symbol of engineering ambition or maritime disaster. It was a vessel filled with ordinary people pursuing dreams, opportunities, and new beginnings. Every shoe, suitcase, and personal belonging discovered within the wreck represents a life interrupted. More than a century later, the Titanic continues to fascinate the world because it reflects something timeless about human nature. It tells a story of confidence, innovation, tragedy, and resilience. Beneath the waves, the wreck remains both monument and warning. It reminds us that even humanity's greatest achievements remain vulnerable to forces beyond our control. The drone has returned to the surface, but the Titanic remains below, silent and slowly fading into the darkness. Its secrets continue to captivate generations, challenging us to balance curiosity with respect and discovery with remembrance. Each new expedition reveals another fragment of history, yet countless mysteries remain hidden within the wreck. And perhaps that is why the Titanic still grips our imagination after all these years, not because of what we know, but because of what may still remain undiscovered in the depths.